Speaking of a show making you ill and being close to the back door, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today on the program, we couldn't keep him away. There's been a lot of twittering and tweetering about this gentleman, and he has become the most polarizing figure in the history of MLW radio, possibly even professional wrestling. Some people say you got to have this guy on every week or we're going to riot. Other people say if you ever have him on again, we're not only going to cancel our VIP subscription, but we're going to do everything that we possibly can to take the internet down so that it can never happen again.
I'm so glad I sent that email anonymously.
I'm talking about the star maker himself. Kenny Boland is our guest today on the program. So if you want to call a friend, you need to do it now. If you want to get out of town, hit the back door, slip out the back jack, make a new plan stand. Don't need to be coy, Roy. Just get the fuck out of here. Before he starts talking, we're gonna give the people. As a matter of fact, I think what we ought to do is, Alice, we ought to count to 15 just to give people time to either call their friend or get out of Dodge, because Star Maker Bolin is on the program coming up in now 12 seconds. Why don't you go ahead and start making the contacts? We got 10 seconds left, and we'll see what happens.
You have been warned, folks. You have been warned.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have warned you. You've either called your friends or you've ski-daddled out of the place, because we have made the connection on the phone now. Direct from Boland Manor across town in Louisville, Kentucky, Kenny Star Maker Boland. How are you doing today, and who have you done it out of?
I'm doing marvelous. I haven't done anything out of anybody, as far as you know. And it is just cracking me up because I can just hear the disdain in your voice. Because I'm gonna tell everybody a little something right now. This thing, I'm telling you, people, started out as an absolute joke, much like Eugene, the character in the WWE. It started out as a joke. It was set and doomed for failure.
You're talking about our program, the Jim Cornette Experience, is what you're talking about.
Well, I'm not saying the Jim Cornette Experience is a joke. The joke was you ever having me on the show. You were going to show just how little I meant in the wrestling business, just how little I meant to the people, how little people cared about me. And I think it's kind of backfired on you a little bit. I think I've sold more merchandise to your fans than you have.
Oh yeah, by the way, I just found out if you want some official, now the Beats by Boland headphones are still available from Kenny Star Maker Boland, but now he's also selling Cornette face headphones.
They're going pretty well too. I never dreamed it.
You mean I can have you both on my chest and in my ears?
Yes, but he'll get all the money. That's the point. I don't sell Kenny Boland merchandise and keep all the money, but you're selling Jim Cornette merchandise and because you gave me one set of headphones, you've sold 20 with my face on it, and I get nothing.
Well, no, you did get something. You got the first ever set of Jim Cornette face headphones. And Frank Regal, my good friend Frank Regal over in Southern Indiana, he come over and he actually paid. He wanted to pay more than face value. He wanted the most expensive set of Cornette face headphones ever produced. So we gave him the top of the line ones. You can't even get them here at the alley. It's special order only. He paid $99.95 for the very first order of Cornette face headphones. And we've been selling quite a few since then. And what do you want? You got a free set of headphones out of the deal. You got some free label stickers. You got free magnets to put on your vehicle when you're over in London, which I'm also hearing that people are demanding I be there too. Now, what about that? Why don't you fork over a plane ticket? I've worked for a third-year rate ever since I've known you, just because I try to give the people a value.
Yeah, but it'll cost 3 times as much as it'll cost to fly me over there, to fly you over there, because you'll need 3 coach tickets or 2 first-class tickets.
I fit very snugly into one actual, they like to put me in the rear of the back of the plane where they got that extra wide seat. I'm cool with that. I like being in the back of the plane anyway. Don't have to be bothered by anybody. I can catch a nap.
They like to put you in the rear of the plane because with your weight, it throws the balance of the plane off if you're any place else but in the rear. At least that way they can fly with the nose up. If you're in the front, the nose is headed straight down to the ground.
So I sell 20 or 30 measly sets of Cornette face headphones, and you got to start throwing the weight thing back in there. After I lose the 144 pounds in 14 months, costing you $1,000 that you weaseled out of the. You don't like to talk about that, do you?
I bet you.
I love ambushing you.
No, well here.
You weaseled out. Tell everybody.
I'm about to, if you'll quit flapping your fucking gums. Here's the I told you if you lost 100 pounds, if you went on a diet and lost 100 pounds, that I would give you $1,000. However, I did not imagine that you would go to the extent of checking in the hospital and actually having them drain you. You lost 80-something pounds of that weight was pure fluid weight that they drained out of you with a tube. I'm not gonna mention where the tube was placed here on the program. We don't want to get that graphic in your medical business. But the point is, I feel that's an unfair advantage. It's like when the cop pulled me over one time for speeding. I was only going 9 miles over the speed limit, but I had a radar detector, and he said, I'm giving you a ticket because we consider that an unfair advantage. I said, I got a $100 radar detector. You got $2,000 worth of radar, and I've got an unfair advantage?
All right, and I side with you on that. See, I'm siding with you on that. But what I don't side with you on is that you basically said by any means necessary. You agreed in Danny Davis's office. I'm going to tell you when. I'm going to tell you exactly when. It was in Danny Davis's office, me, you, and him, just the three of us sitting there. King, you need to drop a few pounds. Here's what we're going to do to motivate you. I'm going to give you $1,000 if you drop 100 pounds. That was out of your gums at first. And then old man Davis sits there. Yeah, I'll back that up. I'll give you 1,000 as well. Well, you know how much of that 1,000 I collected? 2,000, not a goddamn dime. That's exactly how much, because both of you weaseled out of the deal. So what you were going to do is you were going to let me check into a hospital and have gastric bypass surgery like some wrestlers have done. You were going to let them cut 2/3 of my stomach out, and that was cool. Yeah, we'll give you the money, but because they drain a little piss and vinegar out of me, you don't want to pay the money. Why?
I wish they'd cut 2/3 of your head out. That's what I wish. Let's change this. And by the way, thank you very much. You're welcome for the lunch I bought you yesterday when you charged me. Instead of making me those CDs out of the goodness of your heart because of all the things I've done for you, you charged me $10 a piece for those 5 CDs, and then I bought lunch also.
Well, there you go. You tell it a whole different way again. I got you 6 CDs. Did not charge you for the 6th one. Free of charge, threw it in because I thought you asked for 6. On top of that, you're talking about the meal that you got me. How about the countless? You know I've negotiated for free meals in this town in a record 37 different restaurants. Do you know what the 36th one was? There's 2 I felt I could never get a deal at. One was Carrabba's, which I did, and the 37th one, Clarksville Seafood Shop.
Clarksville Seafood.
Your favorite place on the planet to eat. Jimmy, I was shaking the day that I called them. It was like I was calling the soup Nazi in New York trying to get a free bowl of soup. I was terrified. I didn't want to screw the deal up. I didn't want to be banished from the place. But I took a chance. I negotiated. I gave the people what they wanted. And when is the last time you paid for a piece of fish at Clarksville Seafood? Name the date and time that it happened.
I thank Steve Neer, the owner, our good friend Steve, the owner, who's a great guy, for that.
Who I negotiated with. Thank you.
Yeah. And almost got us kicked out of the place. Anybody who, by the way, Clarksville Seafood in Clarksville, Indiana, the best fried fish dinner that you will ever have. You can go to jimcornette.com and click on Now with Tomato, my food reviews, and you can get a review of Clarksville Seafood. And Steve Neer, the wonderful owner of that establishment that Kenny Boland hadn't alienated yet. Let me ask you a question. Let's change the subject. Again, Ma Bolin is living with you. You've taken your mother in. You reported that last time you were on the program.
I did.
You are still charging her rent, I'm assuming.
It's due again on the 12th. We got 4 more days. She pays again. Correct.
It is now, it's been below freezing here in Louisville for 2 or 3 weeks now. And I understand that not only do you make her be the one to go and walk down to get the mail from your mailbox, but also that you refuse to let her set the heat above 60 degrees at night in her room because of the electric bill. Is that true or is that false?
Well, once again, Jimmy, that is false. You tell some falsehoods there. I don't make her go to the mailbox to get the mail. She elects to go down there because basically I refuse to go. There has never been anything in that mailbox that I've cared to get. It's always bad news. Some collector, some hospital bill. I don't pay hospital bills. I have insurance now. And I should have had it before. It ain't my fault that they didn't cover me before. So I ain't paying those hospital bills. They can go blow themselves. The electric bill, that's bad news. The cable bill, that's bad news. I always have to call and negotiate that down. I'm not getting the service that I'm paying for. And I have to spend a lot of time on the phone. So the mailbox to me is nothing but a trip to Bad Newsville. And I don't like going to Bad Newsville. Mom, if there's anything in that mailbox you want, like your bank statement or maybe your prescription drugs that you get sent to you via mail, walk down there and get them. It ain't on me. And so, yeah, she goes down because there's nothing in there I want.
What about giving the poor woman some heat? Giving the poor woman some heat when it's sub-zero, it's the coldest winter in the history of Louisville. You won't let her turn the heat above 60 at night?
Okay, let's do the math there. What was the temperatures around here for the past week or 2, 3 weeks? What were the temperatures? You can name them.
The teens and the 20s and single digits sometimes at night.
Single digits, wind chills below zero. Here's what I do, and I think any smart, educated person can do the same thing. When it is 5 below zero outside, what I do is I step outside the door, stand there on my doorstep for about 15, 20 seconds, step back in and go, God damn, it's warm in here. It's a lot nicer in here. Don't go outside. 60 degrees ain't bad, son. If you was down in Florida and it was 60 degrees, you'd have the windows down and your shirt sleeves on. That's exactly what you'd have. Oh, but in here, it's freezing. Oh, give me some heat.
I will have to side with Mr. Boland on this. It is 60 degrees here in Los Angeles, and it is shorts and T-shirt weather outside.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And I bet you Jimmy's fans will side with me as well. Jimmy's fans have been siding with me at a record level. Of course, you've been putting out the word that it's polarizing.
We've also, for everybody that has written in to say that they want you on the program all the time, there's an equivalent number of people that have written in and saying, get him off the program. We can't stand it. We're going to cancel our membership. You have divided the cult of Cornette. You've divided the listeners. You've divided the father. You've divided pretty much your whole family. You've divided everything. You're a big divider is what you are.
Those people right there are the people you shouldn't want over at the Experience anyway, because they don't want to hear the other side. They're just like Republicans. They don't want to hear the other side. They just know what they believe, what they feel, and they go with it regardless. You are their Rush Limbaugh. You don't want those people, because here I am coming over here. Who would I be? I would be like Bill Maher. I'd be the Bill Maher version of you.
Wait a minute. Now you're just I'm
stealing your gimmick.
Hey, you're stealing my gimmick. It's gimmick infringement. I'm not Rush Limbaugh.
You think you're Bill Maher? You?
Well, certainly not Rush Limbaugh.
The biggest Republican I've ever known? You big rich bastard.
Don't lie.
You sat over there on the rich side of town, over there in Middletown. I'm over here on the poor side. I'm damn near in the projects because I'm over here a part of the people. I'm one of the blue collar guys, always have been. I don't flaunt my money. I don't show off. I drive an old car. Yeah, it's a Lincoln Town car, a little pimped out, but it's an old car, not like a brand new thing. Two that you got in yours, you and that wife of yours. 2 brand new vehicles sitting in your $300,000 garage. Your garage costs more than every home I've ever had. Do you realize that? And you try to say you're not a Republican? And your bad day is when you look out and you see ice on your limbs. Oh, Kenny, I got ice on my limbs. I got a limb that's been down touching the ground. I'm sick to my stomach. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I got real problems over here, son. I got a mother I can't get out of this house. I got a mother that keeps fucking with my thermostat. Do you realize she jacked my electric bill up from $68 last month to $144 fucking dollars? I got to pay for that. That's coming out of my pocket. I got real problems over here.
You wouldn't even pay extra at Burger King the other day to get your mother something else for a side besides French fries.
It wasn't offered. It wasn't that I wouldn't pay, and she does get her own money, by the way. She does get a disability check, right in the neighborhood of what I get.
What was your issue then with Burger King that you were ranting and raving about, and you cursed at your mother as a result of this?
I cursed at a lot of people. My mother did get in the direction of it because she intervened and ran her lip when she probably should have just stood there and let her son handle the situation. That's what I do, Jimmy. I handle situations.
Well, how could now, speaking from someone who's never gotten in an argument with any fast food location, just wondering. I'm talking about me. I've never argued with anybody.
No,
restaurant.
You normally go to jail before the argument escalates. But go right ahead.
What was your problem with Burger King? You've been ranting raving all week.
I'll tell the story if that's what you want. I told you I'd prefer not to go there because it makes me in a negative light, but I'll tell the story. I told my mother, I dropped her off at the grocery store the other day. She wanted to pick up some things she needed, such as coffee, bread, milk, various items. She saw snow coming down, panicked. So out of the goodness of my heart, I get in my car on a cold day and I drive her down to the Kroger store. You've been there before. I drop her off. She goes in. She's in there for fucking ever. I'm out in the car watching television, and I'm having to start my car every now and then to keep warm because even I'm getting cold. It's a goddamn cold outside.
And now, wait a minute. Let me throw something in, ladies and gentlemen. He's not lying. How many TV screens do you have in your car? 4. Exactly. He's got a driver's screen. He's got a passenger screen. He's got 2 screens in the back. He's got 4 television screens in this pimped out Lincoln Continental with the BS logo on the doors. Looks like a goddamn Nazi staff car coming down the street. Go ahead. Anyway, you're watching TV while she's in Kroger.
I wondered why people.
What this has to do with Burger King, I don't know, but go ahead.
It totally leads into Burger King.
Well,
so she says, Kenny, is there anything I can get you while you're in there? I said, you know what, Mom? I said, I haven't. You haven't been in my home since you were over at Dogwood, and I sent you down there to be with your grandmother before she passed away, or her mother. It was my grandmother, and trying to bring back some old good memories for her to send her into Kroger in a good light. I said, here's what I'd like. I said, I would like some Jack Mackerel. I don't know if you've ever had it. Jack Mackerel's kind of a poor people's food, Jimmy. It's only like a couple of bucks a can. You put some cracker and eggs in it, and it is some of the best damn stuff you ever had. But you, being silver spoon fed, you may have never had Jack Mackerel in your life, but poor people love Jack Mackerel. Those people can relate with me out there. So I wanted some. So I said, get me some Jack Mackerel. I want you to know that old bitch Mom comes out of Kroger and forgets one thing. What does she forget, Jimmy?
The Jack Mackerel.
The Jack fucking Mackerel. So now I'm pissed. I've been sitting out here freezing for a fucking hour and a half, waiting for her to come back with the Jack Mackerel so we can have a good dinner at night. So now that puts me on the spot. She says, well, Kenny, you got some Burger King coupons in your glove box. Why don't you take me to Burger King? Because she spotted a dinner for 2 for $6.99. I said, well, I'm thinking, all right, I got that thing in the mail today. There was some extra cash there, a little found money. All right, I'll take you to Burger King. I'll spring for the $6.99 for both of us. So I drive her to Burger King out of my way. Now, we're not even factoring in gas miles and everything here. The inconvenience that I've now been put through instead of sitting in my home having Jack Mackerel prepared for me, I now got to drive her to Burger King. So we go over there by Meyer. You know where it's at. You've shopped over there off Hurstbourne Lane. Heavy traffic and everything.
There's a lot of traffic.
Finally get her to Meyer in a goddamn pouring down snowstorm. We walk in there, and I hand them the coupon. And this thing gets worse as it goes, Jimmy. This was a terrible day for me. You think your limbs falling down or irking at you. I hand them the coupon book, and I said, here's what I want, guys. I said, my mother does not like the special sauce. She wants her burger made a certain way. We'll get that in a minute. Let's take care of me first. I want everything you can put on that goddamn hamburger, and those fries that says small fries, I want large fries. They look at me, Jimmy, and they said, well, we can't do that. I said, well, the last time I came to Burger King, y'all had a motto called have it your way. Well, my way is that I want 2 large fries. I'm a man of some wealth. I've got a little money of my own. I don't flaunt it like Cornette does, but I'll pay for large fries. That's okay. I'll pay for the supersized fries. Well, we don't have anything on our computer that'll let us do that. We cannot upgrade them for you. I said, get me a manager. So they get me a manager. I said, hey, I don't want to cause any problems here today, but this is Burger King. You have it your way. I want 2 large fries with my meal. My mother interjects, well, I'm trying to negotiate. I'm trying to negotiate the fry deal here.
In good faith.
She interjects, I was doing this in good faith. She interjects and says, hey, Kenny, don't worry about it. You can have my fries. I said, Mom, stay out of this. I was taking your fries anyway. You don't like French fries. And I said, you don't like.
Ma Boland has never liked French fries.
No, she's never liked French fries. She's never liked onion rings. You would think a woman of her size and girth would like fried foods, but apparently she doesn't. And it's throws me off, to be honest with you. So I said, so stay out of this, Mom. I'll handle this deal. I'm going to get my French fries. I'm going to get them my way. And you order your burger the way you want it and your soft drink. So I go back to trying to negotiate. I said, guys, I said, I want my large fries. What are we going to do about this? I said, I'll pay the difference. Well, sir, we don't have a key for that, but here's what we could do. We could give you one large and one small and charge you the difference. I said, isn't that kind of what I asked for to begin with? But I don't want one large and one small. I haven't eaten all day. It's 7 o'clock at night. I want 2 large fries. What are we going to do about it? They look at me, well, we can't do that. So now so Mom once again interrupts again. Kenny, don't worry about it. You can have my fries. I said, Mom, I've told you, I'm taking your fries. Your fries are gone. They're out of the equation. I'm going to have your fries. Stay out of this, Mom. Let me handle this. So I turned my attention back to them. I want my large fries. What are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade you to 2 large fries, and we're going to charge you the difference. I said, that's what I've been trying. She said, Kenny, you don't need. I said, Mom, will you shut the fuck up? I said, goddamn. I'm trying to fucking get 2 goddamn fucking large fries here at fucking Burger King where you're supposed to have it fucking your way, and I ain't getting my fucking way. They're fucking with me. Now you're fucking with me. I said, so now what you can do is you can order your burger the way you want it. You ain't getting no fucking fries. You ain't getting no fucking onion rings. Why? Because you don't like them. And don't ask for anything else because now you piss me off. So now you're going to eat your burger. You're going to drink your Coke. You're going to sit there and not talk to me because now you pissed me off and the people at Burger King have pissed me off. Well, I want you to know when I reach down to get my coupon to pay for my meal, I can't find my coupon. My coupon books are gone. I had a book, Jimmy, that was worth about $50 in savings towards buy one, get one free items at Burger King. And now I got nothing.
I know you have a lockbox where you keep coupons for every restaurant that in town, stacks of them.
That I can't or they're not allowed to. I mean, I'm not diminishing my negotiating skills. I can negotiate with anybody, but some restaurants just flat out have a policy: we do not barter, we do not trade, we do not negotiate. Burger King is one of those places.
So there you got the coupon, but now where did your coupon book go?
I don't know. So now that leads us to another problem. I said, guys, I'm in here prepared for $6.99 dinner for 2. For the meal here, I can't find my coupon book. I just had it in my hand. I said, you all reached out and tore the coupon out and handed me, where's my coupon? Well, we can't find the coupon. Where's my book? We don't see the book. That's why I tell you what we're going to do. You got fucking surveillance cameras all over this goddamn place. And when there's a robbery, you all check the film. So here's what we're going to do. And this is the God's honest truth, people. I am not embellishing one fucking word of what I'm telling you here. This is what fucking happened. I said, you're going to go back there. You're going to get that film. You're going to see who stole my fucking coupon book. You're going to get me my coupon rate for the food that I just bought. Or there's going to be some serious fucking trouble around here because there's been a fucking robbery. I have been robbed of at least $50, and I want to know who did it. Well, I'm sorry, sir, but number one, you're going to have to tone down the language. I said, well, y'all are going to have to tone up the service. I said, I get shitty service, you get shitty language. I said, so now what are we going to do? Are we going to get back here in a surveillance room or not? They said, well, we could, but it won't do no good. I said, well, explain that to me. Well, the camera's cut off at the counter. They cut off at the counter. So in other words, if the coupons fell on your side of the counter, you know where they're at, right? Uh-huh. But if they fell on this side, you don't know, right? Uh-huh. So in other words, if I walked in here with a gun and stood behind the counter and pointed at you and said I want 4 Whoppers and 4 Big Kings to go, you ain't got no footage. You ain't got no evidence. I said, you've just revealed a weakness in your system here. That is stupid for you to do that. But if I jump over the counter and rob you and steal my Big Macs and my Big Kings, now we got trouble.
I got. Wait a minute. I got news for you. If you were to jump over any kind of counter, they would put that footage on network television.
I figured you'd have to get a jab in there somewhere.
All right. Well, where could the coupons have gone? Was there anybody else around?
Scoured the place. A lady suspiciously walked in right after me and had a coupon book identical to mine that I've had stored in a cabinet here, Jimmy, under surveillance since December, waiting for the opportune moment to use it. And this was the day. So not only did I have to buy this old bag's food and minus the.
Well, wait a minute. The woman that came in behind you, was there a coupon torn from her book? Did you examine it? Did you hold her down?
I did not hold her down. I didn't yank her book. I thought that might be pushing it a little far. I thought I might be risking going to jail for myself because unlike you, sometimes I intervene and take the high road and don't go to jail for an altercation at a fast food restaurant. I elected not to go. And no, I did not yank the book from her hand to see if one was missing. But even though now that you mention that, makes me wonder if I should have. because I left there minus a book, had to pay full price for my food, and it absolutely fucking ruined my day. And I had to sit there and tell Mom just to shut up and not talk to me because I was irritated so badly. And that basically it's all her fault, because she hadn't got me so rattled over, kept saying, well, you can have my French fries, a lot of this shit probably wouldn't have never happened. So basically I got to blame her. And then my fucking electric bill gets jacked up to $144 a month. She accused me of turning the heat up. Well, let me tell you something, Jimmy. One thing you know about me, you've known me your whole life. I don't turn the heat up. The heat goes down.
I can vouch for that. No, Alice, you know how he actually heats his bedroom in the wintertime?
Do tell.
He sleeps with a giant black Labrador.
That's almost cute.
She's a measly 107 pounds. And of course I had Jackson.
That's a pretty big dog.
89 pounds. Yeah.
That's the fattest dog I've ever seen. That dog has to weigh 150. Its head is the size of Buddy Wayne's head.
Good Lord.
That dog has to weigh 150 pounds.
Nothing but I took her down to the kennel, not the kennel, but the Valley Station place there to get the shots, to get the dog.
Oh, the veterinarian. Oh, when the dog was sick. And it's another thing. When his poor dog was sick, had black gunk coming out of its ears and had an eye infection, he insisted that the veterinarian give him expired medicine because it was cheaper. He could get it for half price because it was expired.
Half price. It was 75% off, and it's. I called some authorities on that, and that medicine still had 5 days of good use left. It was just past the date that they like to sell it. So I saved 75%. That's a lot of fucking money. Can you imagine if you saved 75% on your plane tickets to go to London? What a substantial savings that would be. I could have probably got you that deal if you'd have took me with you.
Believe me, if I'd have took you with me, I have a feeling I wouldn't come back. There'd be some international incident. I don't know whether behavior like this is tolerated in foreign countries like it is in the United States of America.
Well, it wouldn't put it past me if you and I shared a room or something for you to try and put a pillow over my head and you go to jail for murder. I can see that happening. You just don't understand when you're being helped sometimes. You're
the one that tried to get me to put your Howl at the Moon Son cat box in my will. Against my will, and then I was afraid you were going to try to push me off something as soon as I did that, so of course I did not do it.
I was looking out for his best interest. I can't live forever, Jimmy. I'm a man of excessive weight. I'm a man of 50. I'll be 54 here March the 16th. I don't, I know I got less than probably 30 or 40 years left on this planet, but my son, he's got a good shot at making it to 100, 110 years old. He eats healthy. He's a vegan. He doesn't eat some of the bad foods that I've eaten over the years. My mother's beans and cornbread, her fried taters, her chili with the hamburger grease still left in it, which I didn't find out till I was 27. A little too late then. He's got a good shot, and you're his godfather, and you have a lot of things.
You named every single person that you knew. You named them his godfather when he was born, on the theory that some way or another he'd get more presents and or more inheritances.
No, that's a fucking lie. Let me set the people straight. I named Dennis Condrey his god uncle. Dennis Coraluzza, because they were both Dennises, would be easy to keep up with. God uncle. Bobby Eaton, god cousin. Sherry Martell, god aunt. Well, unfortunately, some of these people have passed away and they didn't leave Christopher a damn thing. So that has created a bit of a problem there. So now the burden's kind of on you. You're the one that we know that has a rather healthy savings account set aside. You got all those stocks and bonds.
Despite knowing you for 40 years, I've still managed to maintain some of my money.
All right, let's go there for a second. Let's educate the people one more time. This is why if I'm not entitled to a lofty percentage of your income, and I think the people are going to side with me when they hear this, at least my son is, because when I first met you, Jimmy, and let's tell the God's honest truth here, let's shoot, as they like to call it. What basically did you do every fucking day of your life? I'll tell the people. You lived in an attic because you were an antisocialite. You didn't like dealing with people. You didn't even like being around your own family. Your aunts and uncles came over and you run and hid. You didn't want to be around them. You hid up in your attic, and you were so delusional as to what people were about, even when you met me as a new friend. And this is what I liked about you. And this is where I guess if you do die before me and I speak at your funeral, this is going to be one of the things I liked about you, is that you trusted me, because you up here on that floor, you was that big shot photographer down at the Louisville Gardens. And sometimes in your floor, you would have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in cash laying on your bedroom floor, just scattered about like it was garbage. And of course, in my house, the most money you ever saw laying anywhere was about $1.84.
Wait a minute. I brought cash. It was a cash business in those days, and I brought cash back, but I didn't just strew it around the house like garbage, just like we were just talking about. Tight Pockets Court Bauer, the head of MLW Radio, has a money bin like Scrooge McDuck. I didn't have a money bin. I had piles of money because I was gainfully employed, unlike you.
It was a cash. Hey, it wasn't long after I met you that I got motivated and I went to work for Mallory Taylor Hospital. Had you drive me there on the weekends that I felt like working, and I started putting some cash away.
Guarantee you called in sick 3/4 of the time that you worked there because I was watching you do it.
You're my buddy. You were there. You didn't feel like getting up early in the morning at 6 a.m. to take me to work, coming back at 2 p.m. to pick me up and take me home. I was looking out for you.
All right. Well, wait, but.
What I'm saying is where I was trying to go is why I think I deserve some of your money, and a lot of it is that I took you from that shy little boy who was scared of everybody, hiding up in that attic, didn't want to deal with anybody, trusting even me. You didn't know me from Adam. That was the first time I'd ever been in your house. Thousands of dollars laying in your floor, knowing I'm dirt poor, and then you walk off to the bathroom, trusting me with all your cash. And I want you to know, I'm going to tell you right now.
I was naive, wasn't I? I was naive at the time.
I just want to tell you right now, I took very, very little of that money. Even though I could have probably took half and you would have never noticed it, I only took enough to get by. And
I want to thank you for that. I really do. I want to thank you for that. And also, you mentioned talking at my funeral, speaking at my funeral, and I just want to tell Alice.
I'd like to do that tomorrow if at all possible.
One time, Alice, actually, this happened last year when he was in ill health, and then I got sick shortly after that. He said to me,
you talk about the buzzards circling the wagons. Yeah, go ahead and tell that story, Jimmy.
This is what he said to me. He said, Jimmy, he said, I just want you to know that I hope that you die before I do, because I know that you wouldn't be able to go on living life without me.
Well, so how generous.
That's a thoughtful statement right there, if you ask me. That was a big sacrifice on my part to leave me behind with the burden, missing you, missing all the good times, all the fun times we had as kids. Maybe not so many in our adult lives, but I remember the childhood memories, and I'll go on remembering those. Unlike you, who every time you talk about me on the radio, you talk about the few little negative things we've had. And whenever people get me to tell a Jimmy Cornette story, I'll talk about the zombie walk that we had there at the funeral home. I'll talk about the time I threw you in the trunk of my car and drove you around. And yeah, the oxygen got a little low, but I got you out in time. And also got you in the movies for free there at the Lakeview. So it all worked out.
So anyway, let's switch gears a little bit, because I know that you have been keeping up with what's going on in the state of Kentucky, because you're politically inclined like I am, especially around the state of Kentucky, because you want to see what administration you're going to be able to take advantage of next. And last week on the program, Alice brought it up. She had been reading about it. Of course, Governor Beshear has given $37 million to this idiot that's starting this creation museum, and it's going to cost about $150 million if they can raise all the money. I know that you wish you could have got to the governor for a grant before they did, because you would have come up with at least something a little less preposterous than a creation museum stating that the world is 6,000 years old and humans and dinosaurs coexisted.
Well,
how did you miss that trick of getting that much money out of the state for something so ridiculous?
I blame myself, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I really did not think that there was anybody of beyond sixth grade education, of beyond the mental capacities of a Jethro Bodine, that would believe that this earth is only 6,000 years old. I just did not think it was humanly possible. And I really thought that it was like the day that I called Clarksville Seafood to negotiate for free food. I didn't think it could be done. I didn't think people were that stupid. I didn't think people were that naive and that foolish. But our governor has shown us quite a different path, that he thinks that the earth is only 6,000 years old. And that you would donate $37 million towards the potential $150 million, so people can ride Tyrannosaurus Rexes and Velociraptoruses. I just didn't think it was possible.
So how did you miss out on that score? When you heard about it, you should have got in there and said that you could build a Boland museum for all the great Bolins down through history, like your father.
Ulysses S. Boland, he was a great one.
What was that your grandfather?
That was a great grandpa. Great
grandpa Ulysses Boland. He's the one that fought on both sides in the Civil War, right?
I tell you what, you got to take your hat off to him. He saw things starting to go south on the southern side. That's
no pun intended.
Where the term "going south" came from. He invented it. He said things are going south. I got to switch, and he switched teams right there on the other side. I mean, if you could do that in baseball and football, do you think there ain't Broncos that are lined up right now that wish they weren't as smart as Ulysses S. Boland and could have at halftime merged over to the Seattle side of things?
I don't know about switching sides. I heard he was fighting for both sides at the same time. It's the way I heard it. That was one time a long time back.
That's a negative spin right there. I don't think that. Yeah, none of us were there, Jimmy. So who knows? We only know what was written. And Ulysses S. Boland, in my opinion, was a great man. He didn't like how things were going for the South. He switched sides and emerged the victor. And I don't think you can ask for anything more than that. Look him up, guys. Ulysses S. Boland. He was a great man.
Yeah. Have you talked to your brother Biscuits and Gravy lately?
I have.
What's going on? What's going on with Tim?
Well, I invited him to come down and have dinner with me the other day. I tried to throw what do you call it? A hatchet at him. Bury the hatchet's what I wanted.
You tried to bury the hatchet.
I tried to bury the hatchet right in the center of his big skull is what I wanted to do. But he was a little short on money. He had been at the boat. And wait a minute,
what would he need money if you invited him down for dinner?
Well, because he lives in Carrollton, and it's 44 miles from his exit to mine. That is you can do the math with me here, Jimmy. He can't, but you can. It's an 88-mile round trip. And and the vehicle he drives, that's about a tank of gas. A tank of gas for him is in the neighborhood of about $58 to fill up because he's got some vehicles that don't do so well. I've
seen the last vehicle he was driving. I was actually following him, and pieces were falling off of the car while we were on the interstate.
That is the God's honest truth. Jimmy does not lie this time. That is exactly what happened. And Timmy John drives a thing, Bo Biscuits and Gravy. He drives a thing that looks like an ice cream truck. And I thought he was up to no good because he, like me, as I have a motto that's sometimes misconstrued to where I help so many young kids, especially since I got my fame and got into the wrestling business. I started helping young, innocent children. And I come up with a phrase by accident on the television show once that Kenny Boland has his finger in the youth of America. And that got turned around a little bit. And then some people, like you, tried to make a negative spin on that. Well, Timmy John is driving around. He has a fondness for the young ones, too, just quite in a different way that I do. And then I've seen him driving around in a thing that looks like an ice cream truck. What do kids love more than anything in a goddamn world, Jimmy?
Ice cream.
Yeah, and what do they go to get that ice cream? The ice cream truck.
But that was a panel van with windows painted black and a decal of an ice cream cone on the side of it. Nobody would think that was a legitimate ice cream truck.
No trained adult, but a little kid would know different. And he would think there's ice cream in there. So we suspected some naughty things from old Biscuits and Gravy. But now that van is falling apart. I invited him down for dinner. I knew he needed a break, so I was throwing him a bone. I was going to hook him up with one of my free meals. And here's what he laid on me. Well, can you buy some of my artwork from me? Listen to this shit. He now goes on the internet and prints out, and I hope I ain't getting him any big trouble here. But I
don't really think you probably care if you do, apparently at this point, but go ahead.
He prints out copyrighted material on his printer. He went out and bought one of these executive printers. I don't know how he got it, but he did. He got an executive printer that prints out like 20 by 30 poster size pictures. And he prints out pictures of John Wayne, Daniel Boone, great Kentuckians of American history, great Western stars. I think even Hoss Cartwright, he's got a few of him. He prints them out, puts them in frames, and sells them down at the auction. Well, here's the thing, Jimmy. This is in Carroll County, Shelby County, Henry County, Trimble County. Do you know what the education level is for those people out there? Anybody that got past, there's a term out there called "what is long and hard on anybody from east of LaGrange, Kentucky," and it's called third grade. So these people are not very.
Now you're insulting a large segment of the population of Kentucky.
About half of it. About half of it.
All right, I just want to make sure we were clear on that. Okay, go ahead.
Clear. And these dumb fucks out there in Trimble, Henry, Oldham, Carroll counties, where these auctions that he goes to, you notice he don't come down here to where the education level's a little higher and they're going to be onto a scheme. He stays out there with the stupid people. And he just happens to be a notch smarter than most of the stupid people he's dealing with out there. And he's selling these paintings that he's copying off the internet as originals. A Daniel Boone original, a Hulse Cartwright original, a John Wayne original. And people are bidding up to $75 to $100 on these pictures that he's only got a couple of bucks in. And
well, I've got to say, I think that's reprehensible of a person to take copyrighted material and produce cheap bootleg ripoffs and then sell it for an inflated price to an innocent, unsuspecting victim. I don't know what kind of human being would possibly. Well, never mind.
I knew you would agree with me, and that's why I would tell you what he was up to, and then maybe you and I can have an intervention with him. Show him how to live life the right way, the way that you and I do, as retired.
We'll have to. I'll have to get a word in edgewise here, and we'll have to sit down and talk to him and show him the error of his ways, and then I'm sure to make sure that he doesn't backslide and make sure he doesn't fall off the wagon from this bootleggery, that you'll be glad to take all the stuff that he has left and take it away from him so he's not tempted to sell that stuff again, and you can take it home and sit on top.
What I'll do? You know what I'll do? I will take that. I'll bring it down here to Louisville, Kentucky. I will donate to some of the fine charities around here. That will generate me some more money to put back into the youth of America, because the bowling alley is growing by leaps and bounds. The Boland Foundation is bigger than it's ever been. Not only do I have my finger in the youth of America, I'm going to expand that, and I'm going to start inserting not one, but two, maybe three fingers into the youth of America. Eventually, I hope to have my entire fist of the youth of America and save all the children. That is my eventual goal.
We all feel uncomfortable.
Help me, Alice. God.
Aren't you glad you're not a kid anymore, Jim?
Oh, listen,
This is a great time to be a kid. I'm here to help you. I'm here to save you.
Before we go,
what's your hurry? This projects I'm working on.
This may be the last Jim Cornette Experience program. Before we go, I'm going to enlighten you as to something I'm going to be doing in March, and I challenge you. I'm going to be watching TNA wrestling on not every week.
What?
Not every week. Now listen to me.
What did you say?
Just listen to me.
Where did Jimmy go, Alice? Is Jimmy on the line?
Yes, he is.
Just listen to me. I'm not going to every week, but I'm going to take it upon myself, the burden of watching TNA wrestling, so I can review it for the listeners of the Cult of Cornette and wrap the program up in 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, so they don't have to waste 2 hours of their life.
Okay.
And the Cult of Cornette followers have asked me to do this, but I know that you, for some unknown reason, and probably because you're making a profit on it some way, still record and watch WWE programming, do you not?
I just watched all of Monday Night Raw last night out of boredom and nothing else to do, and it was too cold to go anywhere. So yes, I did. I do.
All right.
I have not watched TNA yet, but I have watched Raw.
Then it ain't got, hell hasn't frozen over yet, so you haven't watched TNA yet. But
it hasn't. No, it's cold, but it ain't froze over yet. No.
Then what you need to do to save me the time and trouble, if I'm going to take on the more horrendous assignment of watching TNA wrestling, then you need to come on the Experience and do the WWE reviews.
I tell you what, I'll do that for you. I'll take on the Raw end. It's an hour longer technically, but you've got the bigger burden. Yours is an hour less, but it's going to feel about an hour or two longer, I can assure you.
Yeah, I think so. Right. I do a Raw review every week, so it isn't so bad. It's not.
I have a feeling, Alice, yours is not going to sound anything like his.
Probably not.
Yeah, mine will be more educated. I've got the background. I've raised most of those people from children. I developed Cena. I developed Orton. I developed Lesnar. Paul Heyman copies everything I've ever done. It's a very easy review for me to do. I'm going to try and even get Carlito back into the WWE and just do the whole Enrico and Bull Buchanan, and it'll be like the good old days.
Sounds like Vince Russo. I invented water. I invented air.
Did he?
All right.
I didn't know.
Anyway, well, Alice, have we fulfilled our programming commitment time for today?
Yes, sir,
I don't
we
see
have.
how we can go on any longer with this.
I haven't got to plug anything. You haven't.
What would you go start plugging? What would you like to plug? What's your scheme this week?
Well, it's not a scheme. It's just the same thing I always do. I would like to plug number one, the Beats by Boland headphones. They're selling like hotcakes. And as a matter of fact, the Cornette Face headphones are doing very well too. They're $29.95 plus shipping and handling, pending where you live. If you're international, and many of your fans are, Jimmy, and it's costing a fortune to ship to them. So contact me. I'll get you the best rate I possibly can for the international fans of Jim Cornette if you want your Cornette Face headphones. Much like Jimmy Cornette, his headphones are more expensive, but don't work as good as the Bolin headphones. But we kind of knew that going into it. You can PayPal me at Kenny Bolin at MSN.com if you would just like to donate to the Bolin Foundation. And to help me keep my fingers in the youth of America, you can donate to the Bolin Foundation, and I'll send you a free T-shirt for any donations of $100 or more. Free headphones if you donate $500 or more. You get shirts and headphones from both me and my good friend Jim Cornette, because I know he'll want to put his finger right there next to mine, if at all possible.
It's Kenny Bolin at MSN.com is what I derived from that. And the Bolin Foundation is doing good public works that because you're a Christian. We know you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you still doing
go ahead.
Are you still doing that bogus program, the Bowling Alley? Or did you get kicked off the airwaves?
I haven't been kicked off the air. The network that I was on is under reconstruction right now. And
it's under indictment.
Yeah, God, it's one of the two. But either way, we're not on it right now, and some things are changing. So what network is this? What is this, the MLW network or something like that?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've run completely out of time here on the program.
What do you mean you're out of time? According to my clock, we got 4 more minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week to the Jim Cornette Experience. We hope to be broadcasting from the United Kingdom. Don't worry, fans in the UK, Kenny Boland does not have a passport that I'm aware of, so he will not be accompanying me on the trip.